Hi guys, it's Chrissy again. I'm just going to show you a quick tutorial now what you can do with your Google Sheet that you're using to track your students when they're in isolation or quarantine. So this is what it will look like after you fill out your form and submit your form. It will populate onto this sheet and you will have all the things that you needed to know, their name, their teacher, whether they're in isolation or quarantine, the day their symptoms started. And in the case of quarantine, instead of typing everything out in this section, I just figure date of symptoms start for quarantine is the day that they're last exposed to a positive person. So just to have to not put all that in this top section, I just assume that date is for quarantine. For that date, it is the last day that they were exposed to a positive person, and then the day they can return to the building. And then a couple comments here, like in this case, looks like Johnny had COVID, and then his sister Julia had to quarantine. And so in comments, I like to put in parentheses the case that they're linked to, just for my own information, helps me keep track of that. And this is a household exposure. Now, Ben here looks like he actually was exposed outside of the home, so not in his home. So he was exposed to somebody outside of his home, so he's in quarantine. It just helps me know whether I have siblings that are all connected or not. So let me show you something really awesome for the return date. If you hit in each column, there's a little downward triangle. I'm going to do it in this section called return date. I'm going to show you something magical for me. So scroll on down here to conditional formatting. We're going to make a condition in this column, and I want it to either be red or green if they can return or if they're not ready to return yet. That helps me a lot. So I'm going to hit this format rules. I'm going to go to date. All right. If the date is today, if the date I enter on the form is today's date, then that means they can return. So I'm going to fill that in with green. See that fill color? All right. I'm going to add another rule. If the date is, wait, I'm sorry. Go back. If the date is before today, if the date I type in is before today's date, they're not ready. I'm sorry, they are ready to be back. It means that they've already finished their quarantine or isolation. So that's going to be green, and which is already, looks like it's already happened. And then I'm going to add one more rule. If the date is after today, means we're not ready yet. That one I want it to be red. Okay, so I'm going to change that one to red. And I'm going to hit done and exit out of that. And now you'll see that whenever you type in your dates, and then when you go back to your tracker, it will automatically make it green or red. Okay, so we have, looks like today is the day Johnny can come back to school, but Julia, she cannot come back yet until 1/29. Ben, he was exposed, looks like right after Christmas, probably went to his aunt's house, and so he had to quarantine. He was able to come back on the 9th, and that's green. So that's just one of my favorite things that I wanted to show you about these spreadsheets and why I love them. So let's practice one real quick. I'm going to go back to that form that we filled out earlier. We're going to just do one. So let's say Mikey Smith is in Ms. Moore's class, and he is in isolation because he has COVID. And the day that his symptoms started, let's say, were January 6th. Okay, and so that means if he started on the 6th, we have to go 10 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He can return on the 17th and hit submit. Let's look. There he is, Mikey Smith, Ms. Moore's class in isolation. He can come back on the 17th. I love this. I hope you guys do too. Thanks for watching.